Why are Manchester United so boring, and does it matter? Is Anthony Martial the second coming of Leo Messi? And which saxophone-loving European football manager was caught up in one of the biggest financial frauds of all time? Welcome to an in-depth statistical analysis of Manchester United. I'm also writing about this on StatsBomb, my favourite stats website, so if you want to know the answer to the fraud question, more history on Van Gaal or less of my face, check it out with the link in the description below. I don't want all the Manchester United supporters out there to hate me, so let's start with the good bit. 1A. Manchester United's defence is bloody brilliant in terms of quantity. Van Gaal used to be a crazy guy playing really open football. In 1998, his Barcelona side won the league with the fourth most goals conceded, 56 that year, but now he's just a crazy guy playing football. Van Gaal's United are killing opposition attacks right now. 8.9 shots conceded per game is bested this season only by Manchester City, and 3.4 shots on target conceded per game is just 0.4 worse than the best defence in that regard, Liverpool. And I have to stress how ridiculously good these numbers are. Since 2009, not a single team has conceded as few shots as Manchester United and City are conceding right now, and only 1 or 2 teams per season concede fewer shots on target. So we've spoken about the quantity of chances that Manchester United are conceding, and if you've seen my Alan Shearer video, you'll know why that matters a lot, essentially because shots are repeatable and they're a better predictor of future goals and future points than past goals or past points, but it's also obviously incredibly important to talk about the quality of shots that Manchester United are conceding. 1B, Manchester United's defence is bloody brilliant in terms of quality. Expected goals take a ton of inputs to work out the quality of a shot, and they've been very clearly shown to give us more meaningful information than just shots or certainly just goals. Michael Cayley rates them as the best defence in the league this season. Paul Riley rates them as the 5th best defence in the league this season. As always, you can read about their different expected goals models and everything else I reference in these videos with the links below. If we simulate Paul Riley's numbers, it looks like United have been quite fortunate in defence this season. So let's check the extent to which they may or may not have been fortunate. Part 2. Have United been lucky in defence? Save and conversion percentages fluctuate loads in the short term, but regress to some sort of fundamental mean, implying that teams can be quote-unquote lucky over a small number of matches. That isn't to say they didn't deserve their wins or deserve their results, just that their results probably won't continue like that in future. The point is that save percentage, the number of chances you save divided by the total number of chances that you concede, is partially a skill. Better defences do save a higher proportion of the chances they concede, but for the most part your save percentage today cannot predict your save percentage tomorrow, which implies that very high or very low save percentages are unlikely to continue. If you want to understand that further, check out my West Ham video where I explain it a little better, and bear in mind that when I said West Ham's conversion percentage would definitely drop from 50% where it was at the time, just 4 games later it's now at 40%. So have United been playing unsustainably? Well, maybe, but I don't think there's that much conclusive reason to think so. League average save percentage is always a little bit under 70%. If I had to guess what a team like United's save percentage would be, it would probably be 75%-ish. United are currently on 78.7%, which is definitely on the high side, but some great defensive teams have managed that in the past, so I'm reluctant to say that United's defence isn't just doing an amazing job. But there's a much more interesting point in here, which is how much time Manchester United spent winning and how ridiculously good their defence is when they go 1-up. I know it seems like they never score, but Manchester United are second to Manchester City by only a minute in the amount of time they've spent winning this season. And this is not just a meaningless stat, it matters for real tactical reasons that show up in the numbers. Imagine you're a team at 0-0. On average, you behave in your normal way. Now imagine you score a goal. It's 1-0, so you sit back a little bit, allow your opponent slightly worse space, they take worse shots because of that, and you save a higher proportion of those shots, or save percentage. United are spending a crazy amount of time 1 goal up this season. If you're Louis van Gaal and you know that your team defends really well, what do you do at that point? The obvious answer is to defend really well, and Manchester United have done exactly that. The rest of the league, when 1 goal up, save about 68% of their shots, but United save 87% of them. I can't stress it enough, this is an unprecedented number. Just earlier, I said that pretty much always teams can't keep up super high save percentages in the long term. That might possibly be true here, in which case we'd expect United to start conceding more equalisers, but I think it's at least plausible that United's defence is just crazily good. Point 3. Van Gaal's passing is super interesting. I'm generally a bit suspicious of passing numbers, but United's really stand out. It's not just shots and goals that they're avoiding conceding, they are conceding the least passes in their own defensive third of the pitch and the middle third of the pitch this season. If I do a tactical analysis on Manchester United, that's another video entirely, but they're very clearly pushing the opponents as far away from their goal as possible. They allow opponents the most passes in their own defensive third of the pitch. But fucking hell, it can be boring. If you heat map the end locations of passes, you can literally see where 10 out of United's 11 players are standing. Their formation is that rigid. This doesn't mean anything, but it sets the tone nicely for the rest of this video. Point 4. Time for the less great bit. Manchester United's attack is either ingenious or dreadful. Quite fundamentally, goals are a function of shots. If you want to know why all that's important, again I recommend that you watch some of my previous videos. So sure, United's passing is getting them into better positions, but they're not doing that much once they get there. They are just 10th in expected goals scored in both Michael Cayley's and Paul Riley's models. This creates a fairly large gap between their goals and their expected goals, which puts them a little bit past the Messi line, where no team can realistically be in the long term. If you want to know more about the Messi line, watch my Payet versus Özil video, but otherwise remember my Aston Villa example, where last season, after 4 games, they were 2nd in the Premier League table. They made that mistake understandably because the league table lies. How good your performances are and how good your results have been is not necessarily the same thing after just a few games. United are taking 10.3 shots per game, the 4th worst in the league this season, and 3.8 shots on target per game, the 7th worst in the league this season. Their attack is almost insultingly bad for a top 4 side. So are United's attack doing something really different and amazing that the models aren't taking into account, or are they just crap? The answer's disappointing. I have no idea. We just haven't seen in the Premier League, in the time we have data for, a team with a shots profile anywhere close to theirs. Can they continue to just score from a few shots, sit back in a stat sense, not a tactical sense, and earn narrow wins? Stats me is tempted to say no, but honestly, we just haven't seen such low event football before. So I'm not sure there necessarily is an attacking problem at Manchester United, but assuming there is, whose fault is it? Number 5, the system or its parts. If you're in charge of United, what decisions do you make now? Pretty much every single United player whose first name is not Juan has seen their shots strangled this year. Again, tactics is another video, but I think that Van Gaal's conservatism is killing their numbers. It makes you wonder what paying 20 million and 90k a week for players like Memphis is, who, don't worry, I still think is amazing, if you're going to really limit him and not let him do his thing once he gets there. Wayne Rooney has been declining for years, whilst the amount of time he plays keeps going up every single season. Even the most basic understanding of analytics could have allowed Manchester United to make a much smarter decision than keeping Rooney on 300k a week until 2019. What do they do with him now? And these decisions don't happen in isolation at Manchester United. Ashley Young hasn't yet seen his ability fall off a cliff, but you can see how putting a 30-year-old winger of his profile on 120k a week for 4 years could shortly turn out to be a bad choice. I'm really interested to chat to you in the comments about what you would do. My first priority would be dig a Rooney-shaped hole and then fill that hole with something else. Even if Anthony Martial turns out to be the next Leo Messi and Rooney stops playing so crap, United would probably still need another striker. So, as it is, I think they probably need 2. Aubameyang, Batshuayi, and, dare I say it, Harry Kane would be right at the top of the list of players that I've just plucked from my head, and obviously if you can sign Thomas Muller for any price, then you should do it. Initially, I thought I'd hate the double six of Carrick and Schweinsteiger in central midfield, but to be honest, I kind of love it. Still, they're going to need to replace them, not just with Schneiderlin, at some point in the future. Even assuming United get 2nd, 3rd or 4th this year, will their top players really be happy giving up some of the best years of their careers to grind out boring results to top 4? How long can Van Gaal's history and hilarity keep him in the job if he doesn't make a title challenge? Manchester United games have had by far the lowest number of shots combined for both teams so far in top European leagues this season. Van Gaal is great. I love loads of their players and they're doing really well in the league so far, but to be honest, I'm sleeping in the theatre of dreams. If you enjoyed this video, a like would be super appreciated. I put a shit ton of work into these, and subscribe for more in future. There might not be a video in a short while because I have exams coming up, but that also means it's your last chance to give to my Just Giving page. I'm raising money for a great effective altruism charity, Deworm the World Initiative. I've already given all my YouTube money to it, and I'd really appreciate it if you checked it out with the links in the description below and possibly even donated. Otherwise, I'll catch you soon. Payet versus Özil is a huge debate here on YouTube, started by two of the people I watch most, Spencer Owen and Hugh Wizzy. Clearly, Payet and Özil are both very, very good, but who's better? Let's see what the numbers have to say.